By, well, we'll call two of the three regular co-hosts. Daniel Nomad sitting across from me here. Kyle Brackey in front of the whiteboard. He wrote nothing creative or interesting on it after a weekend in Vegas, but there's always Thursday. So today, real quick, Willie has moved back to Easton, Pennsylvania. So he is literally driving there right now, I believe, as we speak. Willie is still a part of Flow, still works here, the whole thing. Just, yeah, he can get into more of the details. It was a decision he made, and we love Willie. And so, yeah, what that means for FRL moving forward is officially TBD. So more to come. But right now, we've got Nomad, we've got Kyle, and we've got a lot going on. And we're going to start with not the U.S. Open. Let's start with some transfer/commitment news. One, I guess the biggest one, the most impactful one, Austin DeSanto transferring to Iowa. Dan, your thoughts?
I think I was trying to do the same thing that we saw Ohio State do last summer, right? Everybody's chasing Penn State right now, and you get an upgrade at 133. Maybe still looking for a guy 141. Or after Murin this weekend, they found their guy at 141. So, yeah, right now I was looking like clear-cut second-best team in NCAA going into next year.
Well, yeah, I agree with that, and I think you look, there's not going to be many holes. Although I think there's going to be we won't get into it just yet, but there's going to be a pretty major shuffling of the Iowa lineup that I don't think many people will expect. But yes, when you look at their returning point totals, they're going to be outstanding this year. And for me, just fan interest and like juice, this is maybe the most interesting storyline to follow now. Not only does it make Iowa at least more of a contender to Penn State, even though they're going to be looking up at them probably the entire season, but just the fact that Austin DeSanto and Spencer Lee are now on the same team is freaking amazing.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, I saw things yesterday like, are they going to need to keep them apart in practice? You know, is DeSanto going to, or Spencer going to try and hurt? I don't think they're going to try and hurt each other. It doesn't make any sense. Like, what sort of maniacs would they have to be?
I don't think. Well, so the word was, and who knows, that DeSanto in the practice room and like hurting people and just going way too hard, which he goes hard. That's what he does. Clark and Thomas Gilman and Spencer Lee, and I'm sure he's gonna go with those 41-pounders: Vince Turk, Max Murin, Carter Happel. It's gonna be a different. It's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be tougher. Now, does he get frustrated with that? Like we saw him get frustrated with Micic. That's what I'm interested to learn. But you have to figure Iowa is going into this with eyes open and understanding, and at least you should hope that they're going into it with a plan, right? Like you're not just, all right, let's just get this kid in here. He's in, we'll plug in his 5th or 6th place points or whatever. He's going to require additional care, right? Additional focus and to make sure that he's staying on the path, that things are going right, and that they don't have what happened at NCAAs. And, if they go into it with a good plan, I think this could be a slam dunk. I think the fit is great. When I think Iowa style, you think hard, aggressive wrestling, high pace, great motor. There's some holes in Austin DeSanto's game, but his upside potential, and especially in that Iowa room, we were watching him last year. Kyle and I were like, dude, he wrestled more Iowa style than at the point before they pulled Spencer's red shirt. He wrestled more Iowa style, conventional Iowa style than anyone on Iowa, right? Who wrestled with that hard of a pace, that many attacks outside of Spencer after they pulled his red shirt?
I mean, his pace last year is unlike anything we've seen in a while. I mean, a lot of the Ohio State and Penn State guys have really high tack rates, but he was just nonstop, especially with that tricep pull. Who do you think is going to be kind of his main handler? Like, which do you think he's going to be a Terry guy?
I think Terry.
Right?
Yeah, right. I just think that'll be a good connection there. I mean, obviously Terry works closely with the lightweights. I'm sure Terry and Tom will figure that out. But yeah, I'm excited. You know, I was excited for the prospect. If he went to Rutgers, I think that would have been really interesting too, with Soriano, DeSanto, and Ashnault back to back to back. That would have been pretty diabolical 1-2-3 punch there. But dude, him on Iowa, and also Rutgers' schedule came out, and they're gonna wrestle Iowa in Carver Hawkeye,
Which means
Soriano DeSanto.
yes.
That's very
Which
exciting.
I think, because I said that yesterday too on Twitter, and that surprised some people. But I feel like we've talked about Soriano going up before.
Soriano's been. I knew Soriano was going up. Like I don't even know.
It's like before
If
conference
he had
weekend,
wrestled.
right?
Oh no, way before that. Like, it was like November.
Yeah,
They're like, he's going up next year. It might have been before the season's like this is it.
yeah.
One year at 25, and he's going back. He's going up to 33.
How about how many PA guys could be in the starting lineup for Iowa next year?
Well, so it's Spencer
Spencer,
DeSanto,
Santo,
Murin,
Murin.
Lucas
Kimmer.
from Florida, Kimmer.
And then
If Young gets in,
right, if Young gets in, that's crazy.
also smart.
It's half their lineup.
Yeah, it's very
Half their
smart.
lineup. Who's from Iowa? Like nobody. Nelson Brands.
He's not.
Yeah, he's not gonna start.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that kind of
Cash Wilkie, he's from
Cash
Iowa.
Wilkie down at 84 probably, because Jacob Warner, and we'll get to him. Nationwide problems. Yeah, but you know, when you look at Iowa, in the state of Iowa high school, we've been discussing this. It's not been great. There's not been many guys coming out that are like impact dudes. So yeah, you got to look. You
And
got to outsource.
This year, the ones who we consider the best are leaving state. Teskey, Thompson,
Yeah.
right? Going other places. And now Iowa State is kind of picking off a few guys here and there.
Yeah, they got a Shapiro, and they
Right.
already had Marcus Coleman, etc. So yeah, that's so it's exciting. Can't wait for that. Other quick notes, nothing to really discuss. Sedarian Perry, who won all of our hearts at NCAAs.
Mm-hmm.
Eastern Michigan foolishly cut their program. Sedarian Perry to ODU. So
Were you guys surprised by that? I guess I thought it was going to be a school in the Big Ten. And, you know, he only listed, when we talked to him, he only gave us like 4 other schools he was looking at. And I thought it was a lot more than that.
yeah, who knows? Maybe, I mean, with Steve Martin, never count the man out. They've been doing well getting transfers. They had Larry Early last year. No, I was completely surprised. I had no idea who.
Yeah,
was
me
looking at
too.
ODU.
So Willie was the one to talk to him. Did he say anything about, that I have this specific major, and it's like the ODU is one of only 6 schools that has it, anything like that? Or
That's unlikely.
I'm just saying, some kids, though, that's their
I
thing is
know.
like, yeah, they got this really specific
If
major.
he was at
and-
Stanford, maybe.
Yeah.
But if he's going to ODU as an alum, allow me to corroborate that that's not. Yeah, that's not probably it. Okay, and Jay Nabis to Stanford, which is exciting. Excited to watch him at the next level. Okay, that was the non-U.S. Open stuff. We're going to be U.S. Open, USA Wrestling focused the rest of the way.
as we should be.
Starting with, I don't understand where this is coming from. And I'm just honing in on a couple tweets, but the idea that the U.S. Open field was weak, or that somehow the new process has made the field weaker, it's identical, guys. There's nothing different.
There's nothing about the process that prevented Nathan Tomasello, Mark Hall, Kendrick Maple, Bobby Telford,
Zahid Valencia,
Zahid Valent. There's nothing about the process.
Zane Rutherford,
Zane,
Jason Nolf,
Bo Nickel,
where you at?
Vincenzo.
because those guys, Tomasello's hurt, not a process
He's
thing.
not wrestling.
Rutherford's already qualified. Zahid's already qualified. They would have been qualified under last year's things.
And those at 65 and 79 and a couple of weights, 5 of the weights, there was huge incentive to wrestle and win the U.S. Open because you get a bye to Final X. So it's not – the field wasn't weak because of Final X. These guys are just elected to not wrestle. They may not be wrestling at all. Most of those Penn State guys, to my knowledge, are just not wrestling.
And there's a U23 option available now, which there wasn't until a year ago. That's not USA Wrestling's fault. There's now an additional world-level, age-level medal to try to win.
Well, I mean, you could say university's kind of been there too.
But America hasn't sent a team to University World since 2014.
Dang, we won that year. Right?
Oh yeah, that's when we kicked everybody's. But yeah, we had like 6 golds. Yeah. No, you're right. I forgot about that. But yeah, so we have an additional world level, consistent world level where we know it's going to be every year. U23s. So I don't. Also, can we talk about these are the best qualifying procedures we've ever had?
Yeah, I think they're perfect.
Okay, so first of all, well, we can get into the wild card thing in a second. I don't personally like wild cards because they screwed them up in 2015. And they had to give a second round of wild cards. Then you use our actual domestic level tournaments in the Bill Farrell and the Dave Schultz as opposed to Northern Plains and Northeast Regional. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, we're comparing you. You have to medal against a field of other good Americans and foreigners as opposed to just like, oh, we got some mats down here at Regional. Let's see if some senior guys show up.
Yeah.
One time Kyle Dake qualified by beating Mason Manville.
And Kyle
when Mason Manville was like
a senior in high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's obviously way better.
As we've come to know it.
We continue to use NCAAs, which makes sense because you want to incentivize the best college guys to come. Mm-hmm. And so here are your options now. Last year, world team member, which I agree with, that's fine. Bill Schultz, highest placer, or excuse me, Bill Farrell, highest placer, Dave Schultz, highest placer, NCAA champ. Therefore, they made the Open as good as it could possibly be by only having those other 4 things.
Yeah, there's only a few paths to qualify. And we'll get into the wild card thing in a little bit when we discuss Jordan Oliver. But yeah, I think the process is fine. I like the cadence to it. Listen, if you thought the U.S. Open was especially weak, I would disagree. I thought it was a pretty strong field for the most part. I mean, you're not Gilman and Burroughs; those guys are not going to wrestle in the Open. All those guys that have buys at Final X, there's just no reason. Now you could say, man, it'd be cool if there was like, if you got $10,000 to win the Open or something. That would be interesting because I think some more guys would maybe throw their hat in the ring, but that's not the current state of the union. So,
and also doesn't mean that they wouldn't do that in the future.
Do what in the future?
Like offer us such a large financial incentive.
Oh yeah.
If it was available to them.
For sure.
But also, I think this is just like people want the U.S. Open to be World Team Trials, and it's not. The U.S. Open is a qualifier.
Yeah.
The U.S. Open is a qualifier. And a lot of this is like UOC stuff. Like all these procedures, they have to go through the USOC. And basically you're required to have a national champion, and then you're required to have a top 3 national team. And so in order to accomplish that, you got to split those 2 things up into a U.S. Open and World Team Trials.
I would be disappointed even if that wasn't a USOC mandate, that if the season just got reduced to the Open is everything, and then, man, that's it. Now we're done. That's our imagine if our world team was set. Worlds are in October. What are we going to do with our time, man?
People who say they want the U.S. Open to be tougher don't realize that will not result in the best possible team. If the U.S. Open is everything, it will not result in the best possible team.
No, I agree with that. And do you really want everyone to be able to try to – literally, it's an Open. You have roofers that are entering these tournaments.
Right.
And they're wrestling Kyle Dake, right?
Round of 64, some of these brackets, you're gonna have a guy wrestle 7 matches.
Yeah.
To make a world team.
Yeah, look at that guy that wrestled Nashon first round.
Yeah.
That was unsafe.
That guy was a theater major. Just made that up. Who knows what he majored in? Yeah, that was not good. Okay. U.S. Open ruled. Should we free Jordan Oliver? Does he need freed?
I don't think so. But when making this argument, I want people to remove Jordan Oliver. I have nothing personal against Jordan Oliver. Jordan Oliver graduated high school the same year as me. I've always followed his career.
Oh wow,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I've always followed his career. I've always liked Jordan Oliver.
Special
but I want to
to him for a while now.
Blind resume, right? Blind resume. NCAA tournament time. When people bring this up, I want to point some things out. But I'm gonna let Christian make his point first. That Jo should be in.
Okay. I believe that Jordan Oliver should be allowed to wrestle at the World Team Trials for a couple reasons. One, in general, my belief has been widen the parameters, widen the option of guys that can get into that field, because the goal, USA Wrestling's goal, is to win world medals, okay, and to win the world championships. So why would you limit the talent that can come in? If for example, if Mark Hall said, I want to be in the World Team Trials at 79 kilograms, I think that USA Wrestling should make an exception and let him in. I don't think Mark Hall does. We know that Jordan Oliver, in fact, does. So it's not a JO-specific thing. Okay, one. Two, there's precedent here with wild cards. They've given them out willy-nilly in years past to guys that make no sense whatsoever, who make much less sense than Jordan Oliver, who served a, quote, 1-year suspension that basically, unless USA Wrestling gives him a wild card, keeps him off world teams for 2 years. The whole thing is making a world team, winning a world medal. Right. That's the goal. It's not to be able to go to Euregan or whatever. It's to make the world team, win a world medal. That's the huge opportunity in America. And so that got taken away from him for 2 years. He served his time. It's a very unique circumstance in that his suspension ended the day that the Open ended, right? Because that's where he tested hot. He has tremendous accolades, I believe, to merit entry into the tournament. Now, he doesn't make the team. I'm not putting him in Final X. I'm saying throw him in the bracket, and if he gets fourth, then okay. Then that's fine too. But if he wins the thing, then wouldn't we be glad? I just don't see the negative. What is the negative of letting Jordan Oliver in? What is the possible recourse that I'm missing?
To me, it's the precedent of this guy got caught, and what he did was, I mean, what he did, right? Like guys get caught all the time, mostly in Europe. But it's like, are you gonna let a guy in who did something against the rules, something that was wrong? And additionally, as far as if we're looking at like guys, the best guys to make the team, Jordan Oliver wrestled 2 tournaments overseas in his entire career. 2009 Junior Worlds, 2015 Yasodogu. He has wrestled in that time 13 total foreigners. This dude does not wrestle. And he doesn't wrestle overseas. He does not prove himself consistently against top competition. He's won 1 U.S. Open title. Just like blind resume, that's not exactly someone that we need to be in the trials. Maybe we need him this year because of the way 65 is looking. But blind resume, he's not special.
Point me to the resume in 65 kilograms that's markedly better. Point to Jaden Ironman's international resume, or even Joey McKenna the last few years. I mean, the guy won Junior World Silver in 2014, but it's 2018 now, and that was juniors, and no one's quite. And that's my broad point. Who cares if maybe Joey McKenna is a better option? Then he'll win and make the team.
Just won U23 bronze. He just went overseas, won a world bronze.
Then he'll win the weight if he's better than Jordan.
Yeah.
But if he's not better, then we'll be glad that Jordan goes. I mean, if you look at, I don't think we're at a point where we can look to the international resume at 65. We haven't won a senior medal since Bill Zadek.
Since the head coach was wrestling.
Since the head coach. Okay? So we can't get, well, he doesn't have the international resume. Well, that's the whole point. No one does. And, yeah, listen, Jordan paid his penalty in my mind by not making – he won the Open last year. He beat Zane and Molinaro back-to-back to win the Open. And would he have beaten Zane? Maybe not. A lot of people probably say no. I might even say no. He wouldn't have beat Zane last year, especially as great as he looked at the trials. But he's certainly in the mix. Zane's gone. Frank's up. Stieber doesn't look like the guy that won Worlds in 2015.
He also hasn't lost to Stieber since since NCAAs
in 2012.
Right.
Yes. So he teched Jaden Ironman. I think McKenna is probably the toughest matchup. So I think we just have different, philosophical views of this. I'm not going to – yeah, he didn't go through the process, right? Well, he certainly would have if he could have, right? And I think you make exceptions for the exceptional. And I think he falls under that. I think if there are other guys that have a similar situation to Jordan, I think they should be let in. I think Gable Steveson should be able to wrestle in the senior trials in Rochester, and I think he should be given a special wrestle off for the heavyweight spot. I think he's earned that. If Spencer Lee doesn't make the senior world team, I think he should be allowed to wrestle off for the 57-kilogram spot. I don't know if they'll make that exception, but I think they certainly should for those guys, including Jordan Oliver.
Nomad and I were talking about the junior and senior thing yesterday. I think anyone that's won a junior world medal and is still eligible for juniors should be able to request a special wrestle off if they wrestle in seniors.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So, Gable, Dayton, or Spencer, any of those guys, they should be able to. Why wouldn't USA Wrestling want to put the best juniors on the mat too?
And the thing with that is there's only a 3-year window of eligibility. So if you're winning a medal in your first or second year of juniors,
exactly.
You should absolutely incentivize them to A, compete seniors, but B, have a back way in to I don't know if back way in's the right word, but a back way in to try and make the team at a later date.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think that's I guess that's maybe a Kevin Jackson. I mean, the thing is, the coaches have the flexibility here to adjust the parameters as they want. Now, the parameters they set were if you place top 3 in the open. Gable
5 seconds away.
Yeah.
5 seconds away from being able to request a special wrestle off.
Yeah. I mean, the guy had Dom Bradley. He was up with 5 seconds against Dom Bradley, who lost to Coon 3-3. Coon won the whole thing,
and
right?
is a multiple-time U.S. Open champion.
Yeah. Bradley's really legit. He's beat Tervel. Okay, are we familiar? So, you get Gable on the team, okay? And if Gannon Grimmel beats Gable, then great. Then Gannon's better. But I'm going to go out on a limb. Gannon Grimmel's not going to beat Gable.
Let's go, G. Grimm.
Let's go G. Grimm.
So real quick, these are the 2 ways you can request a later wrestle off. 2017 junior medalist, so i.e. Dayton, for example. If he went to Junior Open, won the Junior Open, therefore got the bye, and got hurt prior to 48 hours before, he can request a later wrestle off. Or anyone who was on the 2016 or 2017 junior world team and placed top 3 at the U.S. Open and wrestles in trials or makes Final X, can request a later wrestle off. So the only way Gable could request a later wrestle off now is to gamble on himself, skip juniors, which are already in Rochester, and try to make Final X.
So he would have to make Final X, which is going to be tough because he'll have to beat Coon. And I think we said it going in, that was the toughest matchup for Gable, and it proved to be true.
Yeah.
And, in the moment, I called that match, Gable-Coon. And I thought, for sure, a 4. And I wasn't even looking at it with an open mind. I'm not entirely positive now that he actually exposed.
I know, it was a bad call. In my opinion, it was a bad call.
Yeah, I think he rotated on his head perfectly. I don't think he broke 90 at any point. Now, he didn't get close to scoring, right? Other than
that doesn't change the general cadence of the match at all.
And I think, could you still give points there?
Like correct throw,
correct
maybe.
Throw,
yeah,
you could have
maybe
given 2.
But 4, I don't think that was 4 at all.
No, that's not. And in the moment, I was like, this is a stupid challenge by Minnesota. And then I watched it. Not even then. I was watching the replay, and even then I was like, yeah, 4 for sure. And then people kept saying it, and I watched it. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I looking at?
And they were like giving cautions on step outs, and like the Coon dominated the match. He won the match clearly. I don't know how. I didn't like how that match was officiated.
I thought officiating was actually outstanding. Listen, freestyle is insanely difficult to officiate, right? I didn't feel like there were any matches that were changed by bad calls, including that one. I do think they're a little inconsistent with the cautions on step outs. I thought they were a little more liberal, and maybe that's because they're only 1 point now. And I also thought, just a couple of things, I thought the continuation was really inconsistent on when they were letting guys earn the takedown on the edge, and then when they were just calling it 1.
Right, and which is kind of always been the case, right? Because continuation, because out of bounds is such a well, out of bounds isn't gray area, right? You step your foot all the way out, it's out. But because continuation is, generally speaking, a good thing where you want to encourage guys to be able to finish shots and especially try to finish fours, that sometimes it gets a little messed up.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Gable Coon, we talked about that a little bit. Why don't we go juniors? Kind of smash through those. Maybe briefly now. We can dive in a little deeper on Thursday. But and Willie had this in the notes. He hates that the juniors, and I agree. I hate that junior and senior are together. I understand why it's that way, why it makes sense for them, but it doesn't change the fact that I didn't watch Ja'Cory Teamer and David Carr, or Brayton Lee, David Carr, or I didn't even know that Michael Beard lost to the same Michigan State guy twice. Like, the fact that a tournament of that magnitude is going on alongside U.S. Open, it's impossible. We were there. It's impossible to do both. It actually may have been more simple had we been at home and just like able to like set up multiple screens and just watch everything. But there's a lot that you guys probably don't realize because it's stuff I'm just now realizing happened.
Well, and that's so the quarters were kind of about wrapped up, and Willie pointed to me and said, "Hey, let's go upstairs and figure out what's going on up there." So we go up there. We learn about Beard losing, Hoffman gets hurt, Rayvon Foley and Pat McKee had another 35-point insanity match.
Oh my gosh! I haven't seen that one. Kyle told me it happened again.
Yeah, those two are crazy.
They should. Yeah, I can't wait for their Big Ten rivalry to begin.
That's gonna be spectacular.
I wonder what their folk style match is
gonna be like 3-2.
Yeah, 1-0 in riding time.
Yeah, it's gonna be brutal. Okay, so juniors, we'll just go in weight order, starting at 57. Biggest story. I mean, Brandon Courtney looked great, but Gavin Teasdale loses to Courtney and Bianchi, two guys he had a lead on late and just didn't hold up at the end, which to me, if you're a Penn State fan, I'm not that worried about. I think, hey, he's going to get to Penn State. They're going to get all that in check. I don't think he's going to be – his shape will be right. And I don't know if it was shape or – a lot of people think the cut's going to be problematic for him. I thought he looked okay. I thought he looked crisp. He's great on his feet, right? I think once he's there at Penn State, he's going to be just fine, even though I understand why you might be concerned to see him lose to Paul Bianchi. If you watch that match, he did take him down. I do think that Gavin has some head-hands vulnerability, but he got hit in a trap arm, and that really blew the match out of the water. So if you're a Penn State fan, I think you would rather have seen him win and feel a little more comfortable knowing that, hey, he's probably going to wrestle right away for you guys. But if you watch the matches and see how he's losing, it's correctable, right?
Well, and we saw it all weekend, right? College guys beat high school guys.
Yeah.
Like, that gear in the college room is clearly so important, and I kind of overlooked it, in my preview and picks, talking to people and stuff. And I'm not going to do it again. It's those guys, Bianchi was in the Open Finals last year. Courtney was in the Trials Finals last year. So they're good wrestlers, right? They're guys that are in college rooms. But I talked to Gavin quite a bit on Friday, and I agree. The cut is his least favorite part. It's the part that gives him the most struggle. Now he's still in high school, and so when you get to Penn State and you get to college and you have more, you have better coaches, you have more nutrition and stuff like that. It might become easy.
Yeah, I bet it's there's so much to learn when you're a high school wrestler nutrition wise. They'll probably Penn State's got guys down to weight before. I know the thing is that Penn State doesn't cut a lot of weight. They don't for the most part, but I think they've had some guys that do. I think Zane Rutherford, one of them. I think the cut was pretty tough for him this year. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they've been in this boat before. They'll figure it out like they figure out most things. That's not a guarantee, but I wouldn't read too much into this. 61 was really fun. So Decatur smashes Vito. That kind of kicked off the insanity for me. I did not see that coming. I didn't either. Here's how I saw the match going. Decatur gets up maybe 4-0 or something. He does that. He's really good on his feet, and he's good early. He takes injury time in basically every match he wrestles. I thought Vito would just come storming back. No, Decatur just smashed him, and then they had to stop the match.
I thought the same thing you did, CP, and we saw it in his quarterfinal match. He got out to like an 8-0 lead, and then I think it was McGuire Midkiff got like 4 points and Whirlybird. And he did it twice in the second period, and I think he ended up winning like 12-6, something like that.
He's going to give Tom Ryan a heart attack.
It was just a beatdown. It was like a minute and a half.
Yeah, that was it. He just he took him down, he turned him. I mean, he looked phenomenal. And
it's not like Vito's a guy he's a really good prospect that hasn't done freestyle before, right? I mean, he was Cadet World finalist. Yeah. He was in the junior finals last year.
He smacked Sammy Sasso twice. Like, he's really good.
And it just...
How about he's still wrestling at that weight, too? Vito hasn't really grown.
I saw him.
He's been the same size since, like, his sophomore year.
Basically.
And he did the gray shirt thing, the Finger Lakes. Yeah, so that was interesting.
Opposite side, Josh Saunders, who, guys, this 2020 class, this 2020 group of high school was spectacular. Josh Saunders, a guy I kind of not wrote off, but was kind of lukewarm on as far as his progression this year. And he came out and smacked everybody. Beat Vito, was up big on Gomez. Now, again, Gomez, a year in the college room, a lot of varied offensive ways to score, including a nasty head pinch, incredible second period pace. But outside of Saunders, who was 14-12, Gomez smashed up everybody. So Saunders might have been the second best guy in that bracket.
Yeah, I think he probably. Well, I would have loved to see him wrestle Decatur.
Yeah.
But the thing I noticed, and I can't remember who he even wrestled, Saunders, but I called his quarterfinal match, and his gut wrench was real. It was like, this is not like a Fargo gut wrench where, just you're strong and the guy goes over. You could tell this was like a legit high level gut wrench, and he gutted just about everyone he wrestled. He gutted Gomez. He gutted I forget who he had for third, but regardless, he wrestled outstanding. So only a sophomore out of Missouri. He's gonna. I don't know who's keeping that guy off the cadet world team. Obviously, cadet eligible as a sophomore. So
last year, Decatur was in that weight. I can't remember if they wrestled. He's a different guy, though, than last year. And also, I know we're talking about the guys who didn't win. I am perfectly fine if Austin Gomez is our world team rep this year. He, like I said, can score a bunch of different ways. He's been on world teams before. He's been in the college room for a year. Obviously, his pace is phenomenal. I'd be more than okay if that dude was our world team member at 61.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's going to be tough to keep off the team. I mean, you saw...
Barely kept him off the team last year.
Yeah, and that was controversial, too. That was
And then Mitch goes on and makes the finals. Like,
Right.
if you're Gomez all summer and you're just like, oh, that guy made the finals, he's like, I can do this. I can win the damn thing.
Yeah, Saunders beat Vito. Has anyone watched that match? No?
I haven't watched it
You should
yet.
watch it. It's pretty weird. Saunders got up 8 or 9-0. Vito comes back. There's a weird exchange where Vito scores into a lace and gets like 1,000 laces, but it gets challenged, and it all comes back, and then it was 9-8, and I don't know why or what the determination was. So Saunders won 10-8. So get us a breakdown on that when you get a chance. Everyone watch it. Josh Saunders beat Vito. He's really good. That's 61. 65, Demas. Did he win both styles?
No, he got second to Peyton Omania, who's another very good former Greco World Team member as well.
So Demas won with kind of Greco-y stuff, getting a lot of feet-to-back exposure.
I was genuinely shocked when he beat G Feller.
Yeah, I was too.
I was like, G's just got too many leg attacks, and he'll finish. And
keep going.
It was impressive.
And with G, it reminded me of his Artelona match where he got to legs in the first 5 immediately, boom, on a shot. And I think he finished. He was up. And you could tell, okay, this is going to be good for G. And like the Artelona match, just like couldn't get the legs anymore. Wasn't able to create his offense. Now he gave up a big 4 off his own shot, and that can obviously change your approach.
Yeah, he had Demas rear standing, and Demas does that reach back. He's really good with it.
Yes.
And he grabbed G Feller's like shoulder, and he whips him over for 4.
Yeah,
that kind of changed the complexion of the match.
It was like a Pat McKee level lat whip. It was really nice.
And Demas, I mean, that's the thing, right? Demas is always going to be better in freestyle and Greco because a lot of the stuff he does, right, he can toss you and maybe not necessarily finish for a takedown, folk, but in free, that's 4. In Greco, it's 4 every time.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, he'll throw 8-12 on the board really quick. Sounds like he's going to be Oklahoma's 141 next year.
Ooh.
They say he does not cut a terrible
What
amount of weight.
about literal?
Is he going 33?
Literally do not know what Tanner's doing.
I see what you did there.
Very punny of you, Nomad. We got to start shifting through 5 here a little faster. So Demas beat G and Murin.
Max Murin power double.
Max Murin power double was in full effect.
He beat Kanan Storr.
He beat Kanan Storr. So Iowa fans, he might have been the best guy last year anyways in your room. So yeah, you should feel good about 41. Max Murin.
And Andrew Lear's got third, a guy Willie's always been really high on. Good job, Coach Nickerson, Northern Colorado, getting him.
And Coach Marino, he was there too. 70 was the weight of weights. Austin O'Connor goes through Teamer, Carr, and Brady Berge, who I felt stupid after I didn't pick Brady Berge to win. Then I changed my pick mid-tournament to Brady Berge, who then lost to Austin O'Connor. So I was 0 for like 12. Berge looked outstanding. He teched Brayton Lee, and then O'Connor beats him 2-2. Berge, if you don't know, because this was a question, what's happening with him next year? Did he outgrow 149? Is he going to be just kind of in limbo for a year? He's going 49 next year. So that's very, very good news for Penn State. Not that Verclaren's a bad option.
He did not look good.
But he did not look great. Here, and freestyle is his thing. He lost to Van Manen, who really impressed me.
Yeah, Jaden Van Manen's solid.
I haven't watched him. I haven't watched him in a while. He got pretty dang good. So O'Connor, though, I loved the mind games early against Carr, making him take his headgear off, which is the rule. Like, if you don't want to wrestle a guy with headgear, they have to take it off. That's the rule. And I thought, I was like, he probably doesn't even care. It's probably just like this mind game they played. And then it became this whole thing, and both Carr's brother and his dad were like arguing. It's like all this little drama before the match even started. And O'Connor gets a big 4 and wins. So yeah, O'Connor, I don't know if he's going 49 or 57 for them next year, but he beat Heilman.
Kennedy's got room to grow.
Yeah. But they say he doesn't cut any weight somehow. Somehow he doesn't cut any weight. All right, I'm slowing it down. Mahler beat Verclaren also.
And
Carr.
Ja'Cory Tech, Dave Carr.
Ja'Cory Tech Carr. Carr beat Lee 8-8. Another great match. 74 kilograms plot twist. Dustin Plott. He's a sophomore, right?
In high school.
In high school, mind you, in Oklahoma. He beat Caleb Romero, who's had a beard for 9 years. I was very impressed with that, and he lost to Jeremiah Moody in the finals, who was another like big surprise.
Jeremiah Moody looked incredible. I was really impressed with him.
I'm gonna slow down on the he looked good. He did great, but I wasn't like.
Isn't he like third string?
Yes.
He can't beat Caleb Young.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, you got a good motor, very obviously. So he won. He's in the finals. Aaron Brooks, shame on me. Shame on me. I was like, going into the finals, I was like, Labriola is going to beat this dude. I was like, I would have put money on it. And he got the first takedown. I'm like, told you. Got teched. It was ugly. Aaron Brooks is unbelievable. And,
when he ripped Bo Bresky's head off in the semis, I knew he was going to win.
Really?
I was like, oh my gosh, this kid. Yeah.
He's outstanding.
Yeah.
He is out freaking standing.
Freestyle, he's even better because he can make mid-match adjustments. He can finish shots easy. Like, get that lace. Kid's special.
He's really, really good. I mean, I think Labriola is like out.
He looked amazing all weekend too.
He looked great. I was like, because the only thing with Labriola, I was like, yeah, if he loses, it'll be freestyle stuff. But he was like,
not really, yeah.
He teched highly. He has a nice gut wrench. He had solid quad pod defense. I mean, I was impressed with Labriola, which speaks to how good Aaron Brooks is. And then also at 79, Whitlake lost to
Hidley.
lost to Hidley.
He finished 7th and Fine Silver.
And Whitlock lost to Fine Silver.
Yeah.
Fine Silver looked good.
He finished 4th.
Good for one of the Fine Silvers. There's so many of them. Caffey beat Beard twice. Did not know who Caffey was, but Beard got out. Beard was up 8-0 and got pinned. And go back and watch that match, guys, because it was like a Merkle position. His back was like clearly on the guy's chest, and he wasn't pinned, but they called the pin. It was pretty interesting. But he didn't even complain because he had no energies left. Hoffman broke his ankle or hurt his ankle. So he's damaged.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
Northfleet might still have beaten him, but it just sucks for Gavin.
I love Cordell Northfleet.
Yeah.
I was kind of like high on him this year, and he didn't do that great, but I don't even care. I'm just gonna keep on just sticking on the train, and eventually it's gonna pan out. If I had done this with Austin Schaefer, like I did from like 2014 on, I would look so smart right now. But I kind of hopped off the bandwagon at the wrong time, so I'm not gonna make that mistake again.
86 was a lot of stuff that we've seen in high school before, right? Like Nina Bonacorsi beat Jelani Embry, as he has many times before. Louis Dupre beat Nina Bonacorsi, as he has many times before. And I was really excited to see Louis Dupre beforehand, and we ended up being right because he won. But his round of 16 match against Jackson Heemauer, and you talk about like the weird things that happen in matches and tournaments that make guys go like this. Heemauer got screwed in the round of 16. It was he kind of did like basically a folk style leg pass that should have been 2 at the end against Dupre, and would have won, but he ended up not placing. Louis ended up winning the dang thing. Nothing against Louis. I just think the referees got the call wrong. Okay. Louis, I was very happy you won.
You were sad. You were crying the whole time. Kirk Fleet is incredible.
I'm just gonna skip Jacob.
He's
Warner.
a cadet.
No, I'm not gonna skip Jacob Warner, but I did accidentally. Oh no, look in the order. I have Warner next. I went slightly out of order. Kirk Fleet's a cadet.
Yeah, and he won juniors.
Yeah, without a difficult match.
Didn't break a sweat.
I want to see him wrestle Warner. That would be amazing. Because Jacob Warner chewed through everybody that entire tournament.
His gut wrench is phenomenal.
His pace is he is like DeSanto in your face. Guys immediately have to figure out, okay, I have to do something now, and they just take bad shots and he runs around and he guts them 4 times. It's like automatic. He can win a title next year. And please give Gable the junior spot. Please. We can win junior worlds, but we're gonna want that guy. Unless he makes the senior world team, I just don't think that's happening. All right, so that's juniors. We good there? Anything else? Anything I missed, guys? In the notes?
We can talk about it more maybe in articles or next week, but
we can talk about it in articles. We'll get in the article and discuss this in the CMS. All right, same thing. 57 kilograms. Not super deep weight, but it had the match that I think the wrestling fans were most excited about, Dayton Fix, Tony Ramos. And you look back at the path to get there. If you haven't watched Tony's match against Josh Rodriguez, it's eye-opening.
Or his one with Sanders. He got arm spun right away.
He got arm spun, and then
then he scored like 4 takedowns.
Yeah, it was like 8-4.
I'm glad it happened because it forced him to get on his offense.
Well, I don't even know if I agree with that. I think here's how the Josh Rod match, it was cut related, it was food related, in my opinion. With that one, I think those points would have come with Sanders. He just happened to get forward in the first 30 seconds, right? He got forward like immediately.
Yeah, pretty soon.
So he would have shot and attacked, I believe. Now maybe that did give him some more urgency. But Tony, he looked good there, and then man, he's so, you just know in those tight, if the match is tight, you almost always, he's got that savvy and that it factor to figure out ways to win matches. He did it again. Dayton chewed his way through the backside. I don't think he gave up a point till he got to the finals.
After he beat Terrell and he did the rolling thing, that's awesome.
Like, let's keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
He looked really good. And also, normally Dayton is a really we talk to Dayton all the time. We've known him forever. He'll come say hey or whatever. That dude, I was like, I kind of gave him a nod and a smile, and it was like nothing. Like he didn't talk to it.
He was coming down the stairs. I was coming up the stairs, and I just locked eyes, and he burned a hole through me.
Yeah, it's not normal. Dayton is like the nicest kid out there, but he was so locked in and focused. He knew what he had to do. He's right there to win it, guys. I mean, the reason I thought Ramos would win were I think the reasons it happened. Like Dayton is amazing on top. I didn't think he would get that opportunity. I thought it'd be tough for him to get that to that position against Tony. He's got his leg attacks still need some work at this level, right? He's got really, really good leg attacks. It's just when you talk about the senior level, what you have to do to get to the best guys, i.e. the Ramos's legs, it's going to be tougher. He's got the inside trip. He's got the slide by. Once his high crotch and single get there, he'll be the best guy, him or Spencer. But right now it's not quite there, and he's got to wait his turn for now. But he'll be able to make adjustments. He's felt Tony now, and he can certainly win this weight. He can beat all these guys, maybe even Gilman. But that was that. Any thoughts on that match?
I did not. I'm not gonna be very helpful here. I was doing Final X things.
No, man, you've had 3 days.
I know.
Do you have internet?
No, I have sleep and previews.
Let me email you a link to FloWrestling.org, and you can watch the matches afterwards through the miracle of internet. Well, then, Kyle,
I know
maybe
you guys
talk?
talked a lot about before the match whether Dayton would be able to stand in there and bang with Tony. And
yeah.
I thought he did very well. And in the first, controlled the pace and the action. And a couple times was really close to finishing and getting in or getting his chance on top. So I thought that was impressive. And if anything, like you said, just solidifies he can beat Tony.
Yeah. I agree with that. And, yeah, you're right. I didn't remember until you said it. He was moving Tony around. Tony got
put on the shot clock in the first.
Gave up a shot clock point in the first period. And then Tony went on the clock again.
Yeah, Dayton controlled center and was the aggressor.
And and before it happened, I was like, I don't think Tony. It
was the right call, yeah.
Yeah, it was. And then Tony picks his spots, gets on the leg, and doesn't have to finish. Finds a way to expose and wins by criteria. Man, the exchange of the match to me was, I'm seeing. I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly. Dayton almost got to a slide by. He at least nearly got to rear standing.
Yeah.
Then somehow Tony, through his defensive wizardry, ends up sprawled on top, front headlock, and Dayton is way extended, and the takedown looked imminent, and Dayton fought it off so tough. And even though Tony wound up winning, I thought that was a very telling. It just speaks to Dayton's not only technical acumen, but his grit as well. 61, Joe Colon. Someone say he is a Silvaback. Is he Silva trained? He's been wanting me to say that for a while. Fresno balling out.
2 champs.
2 champs. How about that? Colon beats Garrett 20-13 in a match that was probably a little closer than that. And a crazy match. Nishan is a magnet to crazy matches because he has amazing offense and questionable defense. And when you have that, you have a lot of points in freestyle.
That's the thing with Nishan, right? Because when I called his quarterfinal with Graf couldn't touch his legs. And I was like, if Nishan wrestles like that, no one can beat him because Nishan will get points. Yeah. And if you can't touch his legs, it's game over. But 2 matches this year between Schultz final and this final, he's given up 33 points to Cologne. You can't go up 33 points in 2 matches and expect to make a world team.
Fair point. Fair point. There's little arguing with that. Now, what's interesting to me, not only this was a weight we were talking about, anyone can win it, and then kind of shame on us if we didn't say. Who did you pick?
I picked Cologne.
Okay, good.
I picked Cologne.
All right, good. I'm just the only idiot in the room. All right, awesome. Efren didn't pick Cologne.
I've seen Graf not do it too many times.
Yeah, I know. Graf got teched by Nico. All right, it's the first time I think I've ever picked Graf to win a tournament. I'm already done.
Who did you originally pick? Because
that was even worse. Brewer.
Yeah, when you on Twitter. But Nico also had a really, Nico had that weird one with Corey, or weird good, whatever you want to call it, with Corey to start off.
That was weird.
Then scored the only takedown in the Cologne match. Cologne got him with Cologne counter stuff, you're right. And then he smashed burgered his way through the rest of the tournament.
He texted, and sometimes you see a 10-0, and you're like, well, what kind of a 10-0 are we looking at here?
Right.
Against Graf, it was 4 takedowns, just
Yes.
one turn.
He smoked him.
He smoked him. So Nico is interesting. When he entered, I'm like, Nico, you should be at 25, dude. Like, you're too small. But his style, first of all, he's not too small, even though he looks small.
I thought he looked bigger.
I thought he did look bigger. But his style, he's so able to get to legs, and he's so squirmy and, like, positionally strong that, like, for the most part, now he did get turned,
Right.
but for how many times he was on legs and didn't get scored on or scored off, he's going to be a problem because he is insanely fast. Now, I think he's going to struggle with a Nishan type, typically.
Right. I mean, last time he wrestled, it was all Nishan.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup for him. So I don't know if Nico can make the team or not. But man, my eyes are open there, and he can beat Cologne. I feel strongly about that. He's right there with him. If he can negotiate a couple finishes, he's right there against Cologne. So I was really impressed by Nico. And 61, in some ways, and with Nishan, he's someone that's like we've kind of always thought he could be the guy. And I was talking with a very respected coach. I'm like, who's our best option here? And they're like, Nishan, if he has it together, if he's got everything in line, Nishan's the best guy. And even still, you kind of see the reasons Nishan, what happens if he goes to an international tournament? Is he just going to get smoked right away? Or
It's possible.
It's definitely possible.
And then you've got
He's kind of a fun X factor, though. Like, we'd be excited. If he made the world team and we had Nishan Garrett, it'd be like, man, this could be interesting because his skill set is really unique and his speed. By the time the foreigners figured it out, it may be over. He has the potential to tech.
another one that would be interesting, and I'm pretty sure they wrestled last year, World Team Trials. It was a crazy match. Would be Cologne against Gross. And to me, yeah, Gross lost to Nashon and then ended up forfeiting out to 6. But the leg defense that he was doing shows to me that he's continuing to improve because normally his leg defense is on the mat. Right, belly whizzer, hip tip stuff, but he was up in the air, or I guess leg up in the air, scooping that arm out to prevent. Now, Nashon eventually got it, which is the problem with Gross. You got to get on the legs 12 times, eventually you're going to take you down. But
it's uncanny how much Gross, like, someone takes a single, he just, like, pulls their arm off and comes up with it. He does it all the time.
I was standing, like, stage side for that match, and he was just standing straight up pretty much.
His
and I
stance
was like,
is pitiful.
Seth, what are you doing? And then he just defends all these amazing shots from Nashon.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's like he's that kid who you're like, I don't like his style, but then you coach him for like 3 days and you're like, I'm not changing a thing about you. It's going to be really frustrating, but I'm just going to let you do your thing because clearly it's working.
It's clearly working. 65 kilograms. Joey McKenna wins it, takes out Jaden Ironman for the second straight time. Ironman pulls the upset of the tournament, we'll call it. I'll say so.
Yep.
Beating Logan Stieber. Stieber was up 4-0, mind you, and Ironman, a couple counters, figures out a way. He's really goofy when you're on his leg and pulls the upset.
This is an example, Spey looks at, I was talking to him, like, when he's looking at Dayton, when he's looking at guys like Ironman, he's like, these guys are 19, 20, 21. They make jumps so much easier or quicker, and I don't know if that's, because they're young, so they're more open to things, or because they're still in the college program, so they're training every day, whereas senior level guys are kind of less regimented. Mm-hmm. But Ironman is doing the things that the people who know Mike, his dad, thought that it could do with him, which is turn him into a freaking world beater. He's beaten the last 5 guys who won 141.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. You tweeted that, so he's beaten.
Or the last 5 champs, rather.
The last 5 champs, which are Yanni, he's beaten Stieber, and he's beaten Dean Heil. That's not bad. Not bad.
And he's beaten Joey before, and he hadn't beaten him in freestyle, and Joey's won the last 2. But he has beaten Joey before.
Yeah, he's very good. Very, very good. Okay, that's 65. I mean, and TBD, what's going to happen there with the JO thing? I mean, it sounds like there's a chance we could see Oliver.
Hey, speaking of which, Novogratz tweeted the match for Beat the Streets.
We'll say it.
Jordan, 2 guys who were both suspended this year, couldn't wrestle. Jordan Oliver versus Togor Asgarov, Beat the Streets.
Oh, my God.
May 17th.
Call this the...
Live on FloWrestling.
That just broke?
That's happening?
Yes. Check your Twitters.
Wow. Well, that's awesome.
You get off your Twitter.
There's a lot of jokes you can make here. I'm going to save them. I'm going to save it for I have a really good one between two guys that tested positive.
Many goats.
Maybe we can get a sponsor for this. That would be ironic. Okay. So that's 65. 70 kilograms. Chamberlain beats Molinaro, and then Hidley. And good for Jason Chamberlain. Kind of been knocking at the door.
Chamberlain reminded me in an interview you did with him that he also beat Molinaro for his university nationals title, whenever that was. So he has beaten.
That was like 2013.
It's 2014. He's beaten Frank multiple times.
2014 is basically 2013.
And I know Frank got hurt, but he was still kind of
losing
match.
when he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got beat. Frank got beat, and Frank was my pick, and he'd be my pick next time around. It'd probably be wrong, but it doesn't matter.
I like that Pantalio's clearly gotten better at both freestyle and just in general because he made a whole bunch of adjustments against Hidley.
He's got to be frustrated, but he did close the gap, but he was right there to beat Hayden. I mean, Hayden Hidley, that guy's amazing. I mean, look,
Mug dog.
I thought it was a bad matchup with him against Chamberlain, but man, he's gonna be a guy we're gonna be talking about for a while.
And then Deacon's not going anywhere. I know he kind of didn't do well against Pantaleo on the backside, but he was beating Frank early on. I think he's problems in freestyle. Yeah.
Yep, love Deacon. Not much to say on 74. Aymar was so much better than everyone. This is definitely a weak weight outside of Aymar. I mean, you had Valamont. Who did Aymar beat in the semis? Souflon?
Yes.
Okay, we have a Jake Souflon sighting, and it's in the U.S. Open semis. Guys.
I forgot he was at Purdue.
Well, I had no idea he was this big.
Right.
He was a 49 and not a particularly big one. Now he's up at 74 and good, but Aymar's on another level. It's going to be Aymar versus Burroughs unless something crazy happens or someone who I'm not thinking about enters this, like Vincenzo Joseph, but I don't think he will, even though he can.
Please.
That would be fun.
Please enter. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great for Rochester. We'll see if it happens.
Especially with Aymar sitting in the finals, so Vincenzo's got to
go through,
navigate some guys. Which again,
I'd love to see that in freestyle.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's different or the same.
I don't either, but I want to see it.
It's one of those. It's either going to be different or the same.
Right.
Put money on it. 79. Oh shoot, this was pretty controversial. Dake Ringer finish was very, very exciting match. Daringer picked his spots, as Dake always does. Dake is a professional spot picker. Ringer, post, left side, high crotch, really nice. Finished sort of, you could say, twice on him. But the exchange at the end is what people are talking about and how it was called. In the moment, I thought 2-1. And then for Ringer, 2 exposure Ringer, 1 reversal. Then... Now watching it, I'm kind of on board with the 2-2. And there you're seeing it right there. And what's interesting, and
I'll run it back.
Yeah, we're going to run that back real quick. Great shot. Look at this footage. Oh, my goodness. So, to me, that's Ringer's move. And go back one more time and maybe just go frame by frame.
Yep.
And can we be sure that Ringer exposed? This angle, it's really close. So, watch. Ringer's hips, he brings his hips to the left to kind of expose. Like he initiates that. That's not.
And then
Dake.
hooks Dake's leg.
Hooks Dake's leg. So that to me is
Right
Ringer's
there.
clearly 2 for Ringer.
He's elevating Dake's leg there too.
Yes, this is
Right.
Ringer's move. This is 100% his move. Now, does he expose? Is he breaking 90 there? Right there.
And even there, if it's still his move,
Or
can
there.
you say that Dake got him to expose there?
Well,
Because you got to expose sometimes to get guys to expose.
yeah. I don't know if
You
this
can't,
falls
'cause
under.
he locked through the crotch and he was trying to throw him over.
Dake was working for this. This wasn't
Yeah.
like a gut wrench where you put yourself. I mean, so the question, I guess, more than anything, is not if that was Dake's move, because I think we can all agree that it was after the initial exposure. But did he break 90? And what did you think about the call?
I think it should have been Deringer's points. I think
So 2-1.
yes. I think Ringer should have won the match. I think Dake's better. And I think Dake would beat him 2 out of 3. even if
He
Ringer
lost that one.
was sitting in Final X. But I thought that match, Ringer was better guy. Ringer should have won.
And the stakes were so unbelievably high. First of all, if you don't know, Dake won 5-5 on criteria. So basically, the winner of that exchange or that exchange determined the match. Now,
Right, that was everything.
You can never count out Kyle Dake. There would have been like 15?
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Oh, 5? Okay.
There was only 5 seconds left.
Oh, snap. All right, so maybe not.
So it was everything. It was the
Maybe
whole
even
match.
that's Dake proof. That's within the Dake margin. But not only does he lose that match, Dake is now in Final X. He's all the way. He's in State College. Ringer not only has to go through the challenge tournament, but throws Zahid Valencia in there. Now you got to beat Zahid 2 out of 3 to get to Dake, who you have to beat. I mean, it's
and potentially Reader, who's still.
yeah. I don't think we're gonna see the Gladiator. Unfortunately, because who knows?
Holding out hope because we want the field to be as good as possible. And
Yeah, and yeah, no Mark Hall, but still, it's gonna be tough. I mean, Zahid Valencia is a mother. That guy could really be problems, and he could beat Ringer. As good as Ringer looked, you know.
Ringer up at 79 is a different animal. Like when I was watching him, he was going with Jaden at FanFest, and obviously it was like scrimmage and they were rolling around. It was just a simulated practice and all, but like the bigger his body is, the more comfortable he looks.
He looked much bigger than Dake.
Yes,
Much bigger.
like to the point
huge.
when I was watching it, I was like, Ringer's gonna go 86 and Kyle's gonna go 74 in 2020. Now I don't know if that's true, but that's what I was looked like. Ringer's gonna get huge.
Yeah, he's so darn big. 86, not a lot to say. David Taylor on another level. Cancel 86. He's in Final X, and can't imagine unless like Bo. I mean, even Bo Nickel. He's not gonna.
So yeah, Bo's not gonna be there. Rich Perry looks like he's finally gonna make a national team, and Nick Reenan, who was in junior finals last year against Zahid, got third. Looks like he's gonna be.
He beat
Pretty
Dudley.
good at the senior level.
He beat Dudley for third. He beat Pat Downey.
Pin Pat Downey, yeah.
Yeah, good for Nick Reenan. That kind of came out of nowhere for me.
He looked good.
Even though he's always been great international styles.
And the thing with Reenan, because you watch this match with Perry, and it was such a like veteran versus new guy thing where Reenan's just firing off shots, and Perry's kind of more selective with where he shoots.
Well, Reenan's typically selective.
No, he was just shooting to shoot. So if he can hone that in with that kind of pace, he's gonna be problems. Which he's already always been problems, but senior level obviously a different animal.
Absolutely. Jaden Hayden Zilmer. Jaden versus Hayden. Zilmer didn't get a whiff of Jaden. I thought he might, but he didn't. Jaden wins a controlled match and not, Jaden's not going to blow guys out. He's not going to tech guys in freestyle very much. He won 3-0 over Win. It wasn't Jaden's best day, but his not best day is better than most guys.
It's a testament to Jaden that he can not have his best day and still not give up any points, not really make it 2-0, sure, but it wasn't close.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a pretty dominant 2-0. Austin Schaefer, man.
Shave and bake.
This guy, I hope everyone gets to talk to Austin Schaefer because he is an awesome dude. We're at, what is it called? Is it Shake Shack or?
I think you were at Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake.
I get those two. I cannot get those stupid things. I don't know which is which, but we were at that thing at South Point. Ate dinner with him. He's hilarious. He like talks about like how serious guys take it, and like when Ty Walls was trying to lace him, he's like laughing. I was like, why? He's like, I was like, why were you doing that? He's like, well, he was trying to lace me. I was like, why are you doing this? You're never gonna lace me. You can't turn me.
Before the match, I was standing there, and he was getting ready to walk up on the stage, and they always play music at USA Wrestling events.
Yes.
And I forget what song it was, but it
was definitely
was
80s metal.
Yes, it was.
It only
was
ever
like
is.
a big like guitar solo.
Shout out Chris Moen.
And he like turned to his coaches and like started like playing air guitar like 30 seconds before he walked up on the stage.
This is hilarious too. So he wins the thing. The guy's never won a tournament of
note,
right? He was not an All-American.
Even in high
college.
school, he said he's never won anything.
He didn't win Oklahoma States, which I'm not trying to throw shade at Oklahoma States, but typically if you're a national guy, you will win states in your career. He never won states in Oklahoma. So that was surprising to learn. But he wins the U.S. Open, and he had a 5:45 flight. He did not plan on being in the finals, so he was like leaving. Okay, well, if you win the U.S. Open, you have to get tested by USADA.
We were doing interviews with them. There's all kinds of stuff you got to do.
Yeah, there's you have responsibilities after you win.
Right.
So he didn't know. He was in his hotel room. They had to get him, be like, you're suspended for like 4 years. Someone said that. I don't know if it's actually true.
I don't think it's true. But, yeah, I mean, not showing up to a test counts as a failed test.
Right. So that would have been bad. So he had to stay the night and that whole thing. So it was really funny that, he wasn't even, like, planning himself.
And credit to him for making adjustments. So, and then we can probably move on from this. But, like, him and Walls wrestled at FRL, and it was probably like 3-2 going in the last minute or so. And I think Walls got a lace, finished it off. But, like, he's clearly in a good environment with Corey Koopman and Rob Cole that enhance that goofiness and just let him be himself, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't make him take it too seriously and just work on getting better. And he's U.S. Open champ. Great for him.
Great on top. Really good parterre stuff. I was really impressed. He's legit. Adam Coon, Iron Man, makes the finals in Greco, loses to Robbie Smith. While he's in the middle of the freestyle tournament, he smashes Gable Steveson 10-11-0, whatever the score was. Then beats Don Bradley in a squeaker. And then Jake Varner, who's maybe one of the biggest stories of the tournament, he makes the finals, Olympic champion. And one exchange, I mean, Varner did a great job, I thought, of not getting bullied around despite giving up a lot of size to Adam Coon. But one exchange, he got to that cow catcher position, body lock, guaranteed too. Adam Coon, our U.S. Open champion. And, yeah, he's sit through to Rochester.
I would also think that, because he said this, I believe, after the semis, maybe, or quarters, but basically, like, how I did hit the U.S. Open is going to determine which style I go. And I thought it was pretty clear he can't beat Robbie this year in Greco. He got moved around the mat. Like, he moves guys around the mat. And
it was like 5-0, right?
Free and folk style. But the levels that he's jumped, it's clear that his style is way more conducive to freestyle than it was before. And I thought he was great freestyle before this. Now, last time he and Gwiz wrestled was like 2015, I think, Bill Farrell, and Gwiz smashed him like 10-2. But he's bigger now. His shot's better now. His shot defense is better now. And
he's beaten 2 Olympic champs in like 3 months.
Right. And found a way to grew potatoes on Mars.
Yeah, he's working on that too. Yeah. Adam Coon's incredible, dude. A lot of options there for him. So that's the United States Open. Any parting thoughts before we get to a couple practice? We won't do many questions, but we'll do some.
I think there's not going to be a terrible amount of upsets in Final X. I think a lot of the guys that won are going to be there. The big questions are probably the first 3 weights. 57, 61, 65, as far as can those guys who are sitting in Final X now hold on to it. But the rest, I lean.
Well, I think Gwiz for sure is going to be vulnerable to
79 and heavy.
Yeah, 79 and heavy. I think there's vulnerability there. Okay, questions from our friends. This guy, he sent a DM. I don't know why they don't just tweet it at me. It's really confusing. I just screenshot. I don't have his kid's name. I'm a huge Dake fan, but here's an FRL question: is Daringer closing the gap on Dake? Oh, let's just go show the entire Google Doc. Jeez, that's so janky. I guess the answer is yes, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's closing the gap.
10-0 in Paris last year.
Smoked
him. Dake scored off his offense. He countered. He got I think a gut and a lace. Like, just scored every way you could possibly score. Then 3-0 in Vegas last year, right? Step out, some shot clock stuff. 2-1 at World Team Trials. Now 5-5.
But never got close to offensive score. Then so now he's getting to legs and scoring. That's huge.
And I think part of it's weight, part of it's Ringer. Is just I think it's just Ringer this year. I don't know. It's the best I've seen Ringer wrestle since he was like a junior.
Someone said, does Varner need to leave his shoes on the mat? No. Clearly not.
Right.
Clearly. Listen.
Opposite of that.
He could beat Coon's going to be his toughest matchup, right? Absolutely. But he could make the make the Rochester finals. If he can figure out a way, he'll have 2 out of 3 to figure out against Coon. Now, that could be bad. Remember, we saw him when Snyder sat out. Varner won the first match in the Olympic trials, but it was very clear he didn't have anything left. He went through that entire tournament that day, then had to go 2 or 3 with Kyle Snyder. Not going to go well for anyone in the planet. And I think we could see something similar with Varner. I think he could make the trials finals, but I think Coon's going to be but no, he's probably a top 3 guy. He should absolutely continue to compete. And if he can get to Gwiz, I think he matches up better with Gwiz than he does against Coon.
And Gwiz sometimes trains in Nittany Lion, so he's probably familiar with him.
Why didn't we see Kendrick Maple in Vegas? Speak for yourself, Rick Caldwell. I saw him in Vegas.
Yeah, he was coaching.
He's coaching everybody.
Coaching the juniors.
He's
doing
not
great.
He might be done. He can't make 61. He's enormous. He shouldn't be able to make 65.
Probably not.
But he does. And I just don't think we're going to see him. I think he's probably done. With Micah moving down, where does that leave Keyshawn? 57 or watching? Or maybe he says, Micah, I'm not going to concede this position to you because I'm really good on top and you are not good on bottom.
Yeah.
So let's wrestle off and see what happens.
Accurate point.
That's going to be a fight. But Micah moving down is indicative of where he probably thinks he fits in that. Justin Jones asks, is Nickel deferring to David Taylor or will he wrestle in World Team Trials? You're not even, no, he's not deferring.
Yeah, I don't know about deferring, but he's not wrestling in trials.
Okay. Well, that's he's not like, David, I concede this spot to you, sir. It's not like that. It's like, I don't think Bo thinks he's big enough. And
are we going to see him go U23s?
I sure as heck hope so.
Me too. That would be awesome. Go to Akron.
Cool.
Bo. Now, this is Kyle, can you pull this picture up? Because this is very important. This is very important.
Let me hang on a second.
Yeah, take your time. I'll tee it up. Alex Fox asks, is Spencer Lee Josh Allen's mini-me? To which I said, I was like, well, I don't know exactly what Josh Allen looks like. I loosely follow the NFL. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. That is Spencer Lee with a football.
That is not Josh Spencer
Allen.
Lee.
They grew Spencer Lee. Look at that picture. If you're just listening to us in your podcast, pull over right now, get on the internet, watch FRL, come to an hour and 12 into the show, and you will see Spencer Lee, a 6'5" version of Spencer Lee. That is uncanny.
Yeah, Spencer Lee's now the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, guys.
Congrats to Spencer. He won NCAAs. He's now a Buffalo Bill. Huh?
He's going to get a nice payday.
Nice payday. So congrats. Everything turning up Spencer Lee this year because he is Josh Allen, and it's irrefutable. And with that discovery by, what's his name, Alex Fox, I think it's time to go. I think we can play us out, and we can call it a show. It's 9:13 here in beautiful Austin, Texas.
I can't wait to get into World Team Trials with you, Christian. It's going to be great.
Oh.
Discussing all the possible scenarios, who's going to be in Final X for the... Well, all 10 weights need to decide the second guy in Final X.
Yeah. And so we'll get to that and much more Thursday. I'm sure you've got some great content on the way, Wrestling Nomad. Thank you to ASICS. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for your sponsorship. And we will see you next time. That's Thursday here on FRL. Thanks, guys. I cannot believe how much he looks like Spencer Lee.
God, what's up with Willie?
You didn't know that?
No, what happened? We're good.
Basically what I said. He moved to Pennsylvania.
Why? Did he leave Flo?
No, he's still a Flo, as I said on FRL.
How the fuck's he gonna do his job?
Well, his job's changing.
To what?
I think he's just gonna manage you now.
Yeah.
He's actually managing me now.
Yeah.
Hey, who's #1 premium show?
Yeah, I don't know what it means for that.
Probably not tomorrow, but he still wants to do it.
You want us to put the show